Okay, hi, hello guys, hi. My name is Shashwat Singh. I am a mentor here at Pratham Test Prep. We're just waiting for Aman sir. He had a little technical glitch on his end, so we'll just give it a while. In the interim, like we know that the session is all about to retake or not to retake CLAT 2022, right? So I'm sure that everyone who's joined us online here would have had multiple questions, right? I believe I can see Utkarsh here, I can see Subodh here. Hi guys, hi, welcome, good afternoon. So we believe we've built this session for you guys so that we can help you with your queries. We believe that we built this session so that all of you here can understand that is it worth taking a shot? Is it worth taking retaking the exam, or is it worth taking the exam another year, next year, and preparing for roughly 8 to 10 months, right? How is it going to benefit you? Is it going to benefit you or not, right? So, hi, good afternoon, Charlene. So, we try and have an engaging conversation. If you guys have any questions, you can, like as usual, post it to us on the live YouTube chat. And we believe that this session that we've planned for you, the 30 45 minutes that we have here, are going to be beneficial for you. We believe that if you are here with us throughout the duration of it, you'll at the end of it, you will be able to make a reasoned decision, and we believe that you will be able to decide for yourself whether is it worth taking a shot or not. So give me a couple of seconds. I'll just pull up the PPT real quick, and then we'll go ahead with it. In the meanwhile, we'll wait for Aman sir to join up. He's facing little technical difficulties, so stay tuned. Hi guys, so yes, I am back, and we have this presentation for you prepared that talks about to retake or not to retake, right? Right. So as you can see on your screen, right, we have this, what do we say? This philosophical question, this theoretical question that Shakespeare had for himself, to be or not to be, right? It's a rendition of the same, right? So it's a very philosophical question if you think about it, whether to retake or not to retake, because there's a lot that's at stake for you here, because it's not just 1 year, right? It's your efforts, it's your time, it's everything that matters, right? It's concentrated within that few months of yours. So that's what it is. That's what this session is all about, right? So you see that Charlene has just texted that sir, I did not do well in CLAT and AILET, but I have applied for MNCET and JAMIA. Is it worth giving these exams and taking a drop after being in these colleges? And Utkarsh says that sir, I relied upon Pratham monthly compendium for CLAT 2021, but there were many questions to which I was unaware of in CLAT 2021. Should I start reading newspaper for CLAT 2022? Kindly tell. Okay, so Shubham, I'll begin with your question, right? So what you need to understand here is that whenever any compendium or anything is provided, right, we try and make it as exhaustive as possible, but you never know what the examiner is or have in their mind, right? So it can contain anything, but yes, we always suggest that you should always be considering or be referring to a newspaper. So you should definitely be referring to a newspaper. And Shaleen, right? So your question was like, should you consider retaking the exam if you have to still appear for MHCET and JAMIA, and is it worth taking? If you were to ask me, is it worth taking it? The answer would vary, right? So, for example, let's say MHCET, you've applied for MHCET and you clear it, right? Now, depending upon which college you're getting, or the college that you're being allotted, right? The question would depend upon that. No, suppose this session is not for class 9. This is ideally for people who've appeared for CLAT and are planning to their course ahead, right? Whether to go ahead with it, another appearance or not, right? So we'll quickly move ahead and see. So what we've done is we've divided this session into multiple sections, if we can call it, right? So we have this very first section which talks about for people who are considering to retake CLAT if you've already appeared in CLAT in this year, right? So 2021 was the year of many surprises, right? So what they did this year was a complete U-turn from the pattern that they had last year, wherein they did in this year was have extended uh, uh, principles, and then they had questions based on it. So the difficulty was not as much as it was last year, but this year it was an okayish paper, right? But still, like, no one knows, like, it was not our day that we couldn't like go ahead and have a great go at it, right? So Shalene, you say that if you get GLC, right now, again, here it would depend upon your priorities. And Utkarsh says that if I get a good DU college for BCom, then should I do that or Symbiosis Law Pune? Because I have interest in both. Just want someone to suggest me, then I will think about it. Please suggest me, sir. Utkarsh, I believe I'll not be the right person to help you suggest to should you go for a BCom course at DU or should you go for Symbiosis Pune. For that, I believe we have our helpline numbers. And I'd highly recommend that you go through, like, give us a call, give us a quick call and have a chat with us, and we'll definitely listen to you more, because we need more information. We need more input from your end. So just give us a call on the number that you can see on the screen, and we'll be more than glad to help. Right. So this first section that we have, that's for like if students that have already appeared for CLAT this year and are planning and are trying to make up their mind. Should I go for this session? Utkarsh, the helpline numbers are here right on the screen. It's 9999975392, or you can alternatively call us on 01142666000. Right? So yeah, like you said, Charlene, if you go through this session right now with us, right, I believe we'll be able to give you a better idea. You will be able to understand. So stay with us, hang tight, and like go through the session, and maybe we'll be able to help, right? So yes, first of all, you need to understand that when you are appearing, or when you've made up your mind that you want to go ahead and reappear for CLAT, there are multiple misconceptions, there are multiple theories, there are multiple conspiracy theories that have been formulated by people in general, by the society in general, or the people who were our peers, who were people who appeared for CLAT with us, and now they may be in a college, or they would have taken up something, and then they like, there are certain questions in their mind, there are certain questions in your mind, queries in their mind, statements that they make, right? So what is it? What are these misconceptions, and why do we say that we are busting these misconceptions, right? So the very first problem area that comes up here is that if you've dropped a year, right, it means that you're already behind your peers. You need to understand this term, that this is put up with it, that the term dropping a year, right? It's seen in a very negative connotation. So, which is why we do not call someone who's reappearing for an exam or who's retaking an exam, we call them retakers, right? We don't call those people droppers. We don't call you students droppers. That's why. Understand, like, it's never bad, right? If you can aim for the stars, if you can aim for the moon, then why not? Why settle for something less if you know that you have the capability within yourself to achieve that, right? That is exactly what you will hear a number of people tell you, that dropping a year is really bad, that you people that you studied with will be your seniors, the people that you just hung out with would be a year elder to you in college. Let me tell you something really straight. I myself is someone who took a drop for a year to prepare for CLAT, and then I appeared for CLAT, and I'm really happy with the decision, right? I am someone who couldn't have been happier, because I know that with the level of preparations that I had in the very first attempt, I wouldn't have got anything through, right? So it was a wiser decision for me as an individual to go ahead and prepare for a year and then give it my all and then see where I stand. And today, see, I'm here, sitting here, and I'm ahead than everyone else, like the peers that I had. I'm way ahead than them, right? So the fact that the people tell you that dropping a year means that you're already behind your peers, that's how do I put it? That's, to put it in the most simplest of terms, that means jack, right? It does not mean anything, and it will not affect you no matter where you go, no matter what you do. No one cares if you drop the year or not, right? Then again, the second leading misconception that we have here is that retaking the paper is not a wise idea, since the competition is only increasing. Why is that not a wise idea? Like, try and understand. Now, we give you a comparison between two students, right? There is one student who is preparing, let's say, just he's taken a crash course, versus you, someone who's prepared diligently for 10 to 8 to 10 months, right? Understand that in these 10 to 8 months, you have absolutely nothing to do but dedicate yourself to these studies. You have entire opportunity, the entire world is yours to delve deep down into the preparation and to get into your dream college, right? Everyone thinks that they want NLS or NALSA or an NUJS or an LUJ, right? So this is your turn. This is your opportunity to make that happen, because once you've decided and once you've dedicated your entire time, your 8 months into it, right? That's when you know if you have put in the hard work, if you have put in the right amount of dedication that it needs. There's nothing stopping you from achieving your ideal college or your dream college, to say, right? And then the last and very common thing that we get from everyone is that it'll get me depressed watching other. Like, now, I am someone like who believes that this concept of depression, though it's very real, but it's something that's been like, how do I put it? It's something that's been blown out of proportion, right? Seeing others succeed when you are preparing for yourself is only human. It's a human emotion to feel envious, right? It's a human emotion to feel bad about it. But if you know that in a matter of few months, you will be someone that is going to go ahead and be at a better place than them, right? It's only a matter of a few months, right? It's already we're in August, right? Ideally, the session or the exam is conducted in May. And hoping that the way the situations are improving and the way the things are going, that the next CLAT 2022 will take place in May, right? So with that in mind, how hardly we have 8 months left, right? And 8 months of a difference is not something that you should be bothered about. It's not something that you should care, because it does not matter eventually where you are, what you do, right? No one cares if you dropped a year. No one cares if you were someone who took your sweet time to appear for an exam and get into the college that you got into. Understand that everyone has their own pace. Understand that everyone proceeds, everyone goes ahead with their own way of going into it, right? So why bother our own selves, right? We have these 8 months with ourselves, we have this time with ourselves, then why not enjoy this time? Why to feel petty? Why to feel envious by looking at others? It's okay that they are, so understand that they did their best and they are where they are, and your best is yet to come. You are to unleash that best, and this is what this 8 months is for. Okay, Utkarsh, I see that you just said that, sir, I may get admission in Sindhi Pune, so I should continue with it, or do take admission and give CLAT 22 again, because if I take admission in Sindhi Pune, I won't get my time for CLAT 2022. So please for this. Okay, so this this section of it as well, like should I appear for CLAT along with a college that I would take an admission into? We'll be talking about that as well. So like, hang on, we'll get into it as well. Like, give me some time and we'll reach there as well, right? So when you're considering, when you're thinking, should I go for should I drop a year? Should I retake the exam? Should I prepare for 8 months or not? There are multiple points that we feel that you should consider. And what are those points and why are they important? We'll talk about that as well, right? So the very first point that you should consider when you're talking and when you're thinking or you're trying to make up your mind upon whether you should go ahead and should you retake the exam or should you consider dropping a year, is it the very first and prominent question is this going to be your first drop, right? If you're considering this to be your first year, wherein you're thinking that if you dedicate the coming 8 months wholeheartedly into this preparation and that you'll be able to manage a very good school, then our answer is definitely yes. You should definitely take a drop, because understand that preparation with professional help, right, is going to make a huge amount of difference, right? And it's not just us saying that, it's our results that tell you, right? Go ahead and check out our results and you know that the effort, that the amount of effort that the students who are preparing for 8 months, 10 months on a stretch, right, they put in, it makes a huge lot of difference because you get that much extra time to prepare, right? So if it is going to be your first year of drop or not, that is the most important point that we believe that you should consider when you're thinking about should I or should I not drop the year for reappearing in CLAT 2022, right? The second important point that you should consider is, does more prep ensure more marks, right? So this question I am sure everyone has in their mind, right? That, okay, that I'm talking about that you'll have 8 months to prepare, that you'll have 10 months to prepare. So how is that going to benefit me? How is that going to help me? Does it ensure more marks? Let me tell you, it does. But provided that you're able to dedicate, like you are able to dedicate and put your 8 months, 10 months into preparation and not something else, right? When we say preparation, it needs to be wholehearted. ये नहीं कि आपने बस कहने के लिए कि यार मेरे को अभी जो मेरे को कॉलेज अलॉट हुआ था, लोअर एंड एलयूज अलॉट हुए थे या कोई एक प्राइवेट कॉलेज अलॉट हुआ था जो मुझे पसंद नहीं है, तो इस वजह से मैंने ड्रॉप ले लिया एंड अब ना मैं ड्रॉप के लिए अच्छे से पढ़ रहा हूँ ना मैंने एडमिशन लिया. तो what that ends up doing is that 8 months of time, that 10 months of your time that you had, that precious time that you had, you've let it go in vain, right? वहीं वो टाइम आप अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करके स्पेंड कर सकते थे जहाँ पे यू गेट योर ओन आइडियल ड्रीम कॉलेज, राइट? दैट्स नॉट हैपनिंग राइट नाउ बिकॉज आपने उसको उतना सीरियसली नहीं लिया क्योंकि आप ऑलरेडी एक बार पेपर में अपीयर किया था आपने, यू नो व्हाट द लेवल वाज, बट अंडरस्टैंड दैट द लेवल कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग. आप 2020 का पेपर और 2021 का पेपर कंपेयर कर लीजिए, यू विल नेवर फाइंड सिमिलरिटीज. दोज आर poles apart, those papers are poles apart, right? So this more prep ensure more marks. Now how do you come to a conclusion to this? You only come to a conclusion to questions like this when you are able to self-evaluate. You only come to a conclusion to such questions when you are able to think about it. Where do I stand? What do I do, right? Secondly, the third point that you should consider here is that which areas were you lacking in the previous attempt, right? Understand that there would be multiple people here who would have already appeared in CLAT 2021, right? And then they wouldn't have scored an ideal marks, right? They wouldn't have scored the marks that they thought that they would to get into the college that they wanted to, right? So this is the time where you ought to analyze that what were the areas where you lagged, right? What are the areas that you need to put in your most effort into, right? You know that the paper is divided into 5 different sections. You know that there is English, you know that there is maths, that there is logical reasoning, that there is legal reasoning, and then there is general knowledge, right? तो इन 5 sections में अपना स्कोर देखिए, अपने आप को इवैल्यूएट करिए, मॉक्स को कंसिडर करिए और ये फाइनल पेपर को कंसिडर करिए एंड फाइंड आउट इफ यू कैन सी अ ट्रेंड इन इट और नॉट. एंड इफ यू कैन सी अ ट्रेंड, then that's where your problem area is, right? Understand कि until and unless you're honest to your own self, until and unless you're truthful to your own self, ये जो 8 महीने या जो 10 महीने आप ये इसमें डिवोट करने की सोच रहे हैं, that's not going to benefit you. So the first step into considering whether should I go for a drop or not, is the fact that you should be honest to yourself and talk about these questions, think about these questions, and maybe list them down. Like make a diary, take a pen on a paper, right? Draw two columns into it. One should be the pros, one should be the cons, right? Think about it, consider what are the good points of it, and what are the bad points of it, right? We're trying to show you both sides of the perspective so that you're able to make a better and informed decision. Okay, so next, what is your aim in this reattempt that you're going to give, right? What is it? Are you just aiming to improve score, or are you aiming to get into a particular college that you have eyed out from the very beginning itself, right? If you're just aiming to improve score, right, that's a very vague idea. Whenever you are taking your own sweet time to prepare for something, whenever you're taking your own sweet time to get ready for something, right? You shouldn't have a vague idea in your mind. You suggested and you're supposed to have something that's very specific, something that's very direct to it, right? So when you think that your only your only aim in the year 2022 is to improve your score, right? A 1 mark improvement is also an improvement, right? Let's say if you scored 80 in CLAT 2021 and in CLAT 2022 you scored 82, right? That is improving score, but is that going to help you get into a college or the college that you wanted to get into, right? That's not. So having a vague idea in your mind, or having a vague goal in your mind, it's not going to help you, right? So always like think, what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to do in your life? Like, do you want to get into NLS? Do you want to get into Nalsar? You want to get into Bangalore, Kolkata, or Bhopal, or Jodhpur, right? Where do you want to get into, or Gandhinagar for that matter, right? If your aim is to get into one of these colleges, make that your aim, not improving Scotland. Because like I said, that even a 0.5 improvement is an improvement, but is that going to help you anyways? I don't think it is. So think about it in those terms. Right, and finally, where did you stand in the preparation that you had? It's very important. Again, this is where you have to reconsider and where you have to re-evaluate your own self, where you have to think about your own self, right? Where do you stand? कि आपने जितना टाइम अभी डिवोट किया था अपने प्रेपरेशन में, आपने जितना टाइम क्लैट 2021 की प्रेपरेशन में डिवोट किया था, उस प्रेपरेशन के साथ where exactly do you stand in the mix, right? And if you believe that आपने अपना 100%, 110% दिया था and you scored what you scored, right? Then dropping a year might not be the best of choices. But if you believe that there is still something left in you, if you believe that you still have that energy, if you believe you still have that zeal, that enthusiasm to appear for an examination, right? To appear for an examination that's going to set your future course, right? That this is the way to go. This is the direction to take your life into, right? Understand that if you believe that uh, uh, if you believe that with the amount of preparation that you had, if you have a little more guidance, if you have a guided approach to it, if you have help for it, right? Then where would you stand? Like, would you be able to make a mark? Would you be able to improve where your current standing? And if the answer to that is yes, then definitely dropping a year, take a reattempt in CLAT is the way to go, right? So Utkarsh, you say that I have given CLAT 2021. Should I enroll with Pratham again, or just the material I have already? Can you please tell me? And Kunal, with good afternoon. It's almost 1 o'clock. Subah ki thodi late ho rahi hai, I believe, right? So, Utkarsh, like you said, ki I have enrolled for Pratham, right? See, with just material, right? You already have the material with you, but where, if you come across any roadblock, if you come across any difficulty, like who would you approach? Where would you approach, right? I understand that you have this belief or you have this understanding कि आपने पढ़ा हुआ है, आपको पता है, right? But the fact that we are people who are here to help you, right? The only thing that's going to happen here is going to improve your attempt. It's going to improve your result, nothing else, right? कुछ बुरा उससे होने वाला नहीं है. So I'll definitely suggest that you definitely enroll for a program with us here at Pratham. And because at the end of the day, our agenda here is to help you, right? Uh, our agenda here is to ensure that you are able to take up and like go ahead and have a better attempt, have an attempt that you're proud of, have an attempt wherein you gets to the college that you desired, that you prepared for those 8 to 10 past months, right? That's exactly what we at Pratham will help you do. That's exactly what we are dedicated to do, right? I believe Aman sir is back. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Shashwat.
How are
I
you?
think there was some issue, and I'm not able to join the meeting from my laptop, right? But now I'm joining in from the from my phone, right? So yeah, so you can continue, and I will add my points wherever needed.
So, like, just like I was trying to answer Utkarsh's question, like, should we enroll for Pratham again? He's already appeared for CLAT 2021, right? And he has the material. So his question was, should he enroll for the program again, or should we just rely on the material? What would you want to add on here to it, sir?
Okay, so here I think one of the most important facts to remember is that we will have a separate program for the retakers batch, right? So even if a student who had joined us earlier, right, he or she will get a lot of new stuff, right? So that is part one of the question, right? But I guess the basic question which needs to be answered is that whether he should be taking a drop or not, right? Because once that call is clear, right, then we have to analyze that what else is required to get into a good college, right? But as far as our own students are uh, concerned, right? So even this year as well, right? A lot of our students who were enrolled earlier also with us for maybe a crash course or maybe for the 1 year program, and who had taken a drop, right? And I don't use the word drop that much. I simply say retake, right? So they had that vision, right? They had that goal that they wanted to get into one of the good colleges, one of the top colleges, and they came back, right? But yeah, we can assure you that the material and the kind of practice you require for that, right, it won't be the same, right? So if you're feeling that it'll be like very very monotonous, or it'll be the same thing you will be reading again, no, I think that won't happen. That much we can assure you.
Right, right. So I believe that pretty much sums up like what Utkarsh wanted to ask, and like that covers everything, right? So, uh, like I've been focusing on this very aspect, right? That self-evaluation is the most important part, right? Until and unless the students here themselves are honest to themselves, I believe like this entire practice, this session that we are having, this entire conversation that we are having, it's not going to be fruitful, right? So, what do you think? So I believe like I've been like focusing, and I've been trying to show and trying to tell you that how self-evaluation is a primary factor at play here, right? If you, I'm sorry that I'm using the term delusional, right? If you're using this term, that if you're under this assumption that मैंने तो सब कुछ अच्छा किया था, right? फिर भी मेरा क्लैट क्लियर नहीं हुआ, या मैंने सब I gave it my all, right? I didn't get through, right? What do I do now? So you need to understand, you need to evaluate and think where it went wrong, right? Where it is, where you lag, and until and unless आप वो analyze नहीं कर पा रहे हो, so this entire exercise it's not going to be that helpful after all, right? Sir, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, and I guess as you were saying, Shashwat, very nicely put, right? That you also have to understand there are going to be a lot of challenges, right? And most of those challenges, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना कि those are unseen, like challenges. For example, your peer group, right, who will be going to a college, they will be putting pictures on Instagram. So not just about like being honest with what you have done in the last year, you also have to be very honest that do you really want this, right? Can you again sit down or spend next 7 to 8 months? The only good point here is that this year, right, it is only about 7 to 8 months, unlike the previous years where if you have to write the exam again, you have to again wait for 12 months, right? Because usually May first week or second week is when CLAT and AILET exams do take place, right? But this year it's a matter of 7 to 8 months. But I think that's a very very valid point, that you have to be so honest with yourself, right? Not this you have to do for yourself, and you have to understand that if you don't see yourself doing this, right, that again slogging really hard for the next 7 and 8 months, if you see that you can't do that, then I'm sorry, I mean, then it can get really tough. Similarly, I'm sure there are a lot of parents also who are watching this, who are hearing us, and I think it is very important for them also to understand that it can't be both ways, right? That you tell the kid to take a drop and then you continuously keep saying the same thing, ki, okay, now that you have taken a drop, don't do this, don't do that, because by saying that, then you are increasing the amount of pressure which is already there, right? So you are reminding the kid or the student all the time that this year you have to do something, you have to do something. So I think honest self evaluation is important, and you have to be really honest, and the family's role also is very, very important here, right? That how they plan to support you in your goal.
Right, sir. I believe like this was a very point that was very close to my heart, right? Like I was someone that who dropped a year, right? So my parents bugging me कि like अब साल drop कर दिया है, अब पढ़ाई नहीं कर रहे हो, अब नहीं कर रहे हो, क्या करना चाहते हो?
Right.
So,
क्या करना चाहते हो, right?
so
Yeah.
there is already pressure. Like I'm seeing my friends go ahead, right? I'm seeing my friends like send pictures, like partying and like doing everything that
Right.
law school has to offer. And then I'm sitting at my home with my books and with my prep material, right? And I'm like going through it. So that becomes a little problematic. And like I believe, like I hope parents were so understanding, and that with this session they get this understanding. Ki the students, the applicants are trying to put in their best, like they're trying to like give it their all, and like ऐसे nag करने से नहीं चलेगा, right? You have to be supportive, you have to have that confidence in themselves, right? कि if they've decided कि मैं एक year drop कर रहा हूँ, if they've decided that yes, I will be preparing for the coming 8 months, then they are going to do that, right? आपके nag करने से prove नहीं होगा, I believe उल्टा ही काम करेगा.
Right. 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 Very true.
Yes, sir. So this section that we just had was for students who had just appeared for class, right? And what should their options be? How should they weigh it, right? Now, the next section that we have, right? The next section that we'll be talking about are for students who've not yet appeared for CLAT or who are considering, like they might be from different fields, they might not have like opted for law as their first choice, right? What can we tell them, right? What should their approach to this be?
Right. So here again, I think it is imperative, because like someone like me, right? So this section, right, is also for someone like me who happened to be from science background, right? So throughout his class 11, throughout his class 12, right, I was preparing for my medical exams, right? What do you call the NET exam now, right? And those time we used to have we used to call like those pre-medical medical entrance exams, right? I'm talking about here. So I guess वो भी एक बहुत important part है, that how a student, right? Maybe now that he is in class 12, he had appeared for the IIT JEE exam or any of the other exams, and now that student feels, he or she feels that he's not cut out for engineering, or maybe he's not cut out for the medical entrance exams, because it is not that simple, Shashwat, and you also understand that when we are in class 11 and 12, there are lots of reasons why we take up humanities, commerce, right? A lot of times these reasons are not entirely like sacrosanct. I mean,
not always our choice, right? कि हम 11th 12th में कौन सा subject लेते हैं.
right. So I guess if, and interestingly, you will also find a lot of students who have taken a drop year, the so-called drop year, who have not given CLAT this year at all, right? So they were not preparing for CLAT. By not appearing for CLAT, we also mean that they have not, like appeared, and they have not even prepared for CLAT this year, right? So for them also, right, it is important that if they want to move from their traditional line of engineering, right, or the medical entrance exam, so उनके लिए बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है कि they should devote full time of theirs, right? उनको भी ये बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है कि वो पूरा time जो है अपना जो next 7-8 years हैं, 7-8 months, right, they should devote to CLAT preparation.
Right, like you said, right, that parents have not given us afforded us the opportunity to choose our stream in class 11th and 12th, and like we have like opted it, and like we are appearing for whatever the stream holds for us. But that's not necessarily something that interests us. That's not something necessarily that जिसमें मेरा दिल लगता है, right? And if this is a law, a field wherein it's all about communicating, it's all about studying, it's all about researching and bringing and coming up with newer ideas, right? So if that's something that interests you, that CLAT, I believe, is the perfect option, right? Because that gives you the opportunity to explore yourself. Your fields here are not limited. Like if I were to consider, like if there was a student who got into, let's say, a medical exam, right? They cleared a medical exam. So I believe they have three options here. या तो डेंटिस्ट बनेंगे, या तो डॉक्टर बनेंगे इंसानों के, या तो वेटरनरियन बनेंगे. So I believe, like, if those are the three options that you have in the medical field, right? I am saying this from an outsider's perspective. I'm not someone who is involved in the studies or who's involved in the field per se. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that even if you are not someone who dedicated themselves to preparation for CLAT or preparation for law per se, right? This is the field for you if you believe you want to explore yourself. These 5 coming years that you'd have after you've appeared for an exam and you've cleared a college, right? It's going to be something that's going to be unimaginable, because understand that the opportunities that you have, the potential that you will have for yourself will be something you wouldn't have wondered, or you wouldn't have thought that something like that existed, right? So when we're talking about someone who's not from technically the people who have been ideally preparing for CLAT, or from people who not from the so-called science and commerce or humanities background, which is supposed to be inclined towards law, right? What are the points that you should be considering, right? Why should you think about appearing for CLAT as an examination, or appear or taking up law as an opportunity, or taking up law as a career, right? The very first question that should come to your mind is, why do I want to do law, right? Now this is a very interesting question for me. Why did I pursue law, right? Why was I someone who took up law as a career option, right? So mere perspective say, for me law was something that would have opened up me to anything and everything, right? This is an area, this is that one field where I have the opportunity for paving the path for the future, right? What we do today is what people behind us are going to follow. It's what our younger brothers and sisters are going to do, right? So any judgment that, let's say, like any judgment that comes up from the courts of law, right, that sets a precedent, that sets a direction in which everyone else has to follow. So that was my motivation of why I wanted to do law, because I wanted to be with someone who makes a change. I wanted to be someone who breaks the barrier, who breaks, like, what's normal, right? I wanted to break that conversation, like the assumed normal is not what normal is, right? So like I'd want to ask you, what was your motivation for law?
Okay, so firstly, finally, the bug is has been taken care of. So finally, I can join the session. So hello again, guys. Sorry for all the interruptions, and Shashwat, thank you so much, so much, right, for taking this ahead. So my inspiration, right, was someone whom I met when I was preparing for my medical exams. As I was just talking about that, Shashwat, तो क्या हुआ कि I met someone who was at NLSIU Bangalore and he was in 3rd year, right? He was an excellent student and he happened to be one of my friend's elder ब्रदर, जो कि आपके जो यूजुअली जो पहले हीरोज होते हैं वो कुछ एक शायद ऐसे ही आपको मिलते हैं, राइट, कि किसी का भाई होता है. And then I just asked him, what do you do? And he told me that he's studying law, and he told me that he's studying law at NLSIU Bangalore. So the first question which came to my mind was, why Bangalore, right? Because I was from I was doing my schooling from Chandigarh, and PU law is also pretty famous, right? PU law hai, aapka DU law hai. So the first thing which came to mind, because I had no idea about the NLUs. When I went back home, I researched about NLU Bangalore, and then I got to know that it's a really great university. So next day, again, I went back to him. I told him that, what do you have to do to get into a good law school? And he told me, and I was inspired by the answer. He told me that you need to know what is happening around you. right? And I think that was it for me, because by that time I was, I guess, too involved with the bio books, physics, chemistry, right? I was bored of all of this, and I just wanted to take a break from that as well. Plus I was pretty interested in reading the newspaper every day, right? Or knowing what is happening around me, right? So as you were saying, that for everyone, right, that click, right, is something else. So सबके लिए शायद कुछ अलग-अलग होता है, but for me was meeting that guy, and that guy happened to make a deal with Amazon. He later on became an entrepreneur, right? And he sold off his company to Amazon for, like, I think 350 CR. I mean, I think 350 CR or 400 CR, right? So that was the guy who inspired me, at least, to get into law.
That is some motivation to have, right? After 5 years or 6 years, that you're going to bag that much amount of money.
Right.
So exactly, like what we were talking about, that your motivation of why you want to go ahead and take law, right, is going to be something different from everyone else. Everyone has their own journey, right? Everyone has their own way of deciding and coming to the harsh reality that yes, this is the thing that I want to do. Abhi tak jo main kar raha tha, that was not the true me. That was not what I wanted to do, but this is something that excites me. Understand, like whenever I'm talking about why, so मैं आपको ये बताना चाहता हूँ, like whenever I'm talking to anyone कि मैंने law क्यों किया, I feel these like goosebumps on my hand, right? Like I get that excited. So I believe like if someone is that excited for something, so that is their calling. उसके अलावा I don't think कुछ और उनको करना चाहिए.
And I guess I think we would want to say this to everyone who is watching us, that kind of passion, that kind of commitment, right, and that kind of excitement is also required, right? So that if you're planning to take a drop, right, and that's what we were talking about, right? Agar aapka ye aim hai, then you should also have the same excitement for that college, right? You should also feel that, okay, what it means to go to a good law school, what it means to go to colleges like RMNLU or Nalsar Hyderabad or NLSIU Bangalore or NLU Delhi, right? So you should have that dream and you should be really passionate about that.
Right. So then I believe, sir, the two other points which I believe are the most important for someone to consider who's not from the traditionally law background is what is the scope of law as a career, right? This is a question that comes up a lot, like whenever we talk to anyone, whenever we talk to students, they have this question ki law ke baad kya kar sakte hain? So I believe the sky is the limit, sir. Like law does not hold you down. The law does not bind you. This is the only thing that you can do.
Right. And true. And also the fact that, I think now what has changed, Shashwat, in the last few years, right? And now everyone at least once will have this idea of taking up law, right? So what was going for engineering, right, few years back, जैसा कि हम देखते थे कि there were engineering colleges mushrooming everywhere in the country, right? Right now, it is with respect to law. Now, why is it happening? Because people have also realized that it's a very good course also. It is not just about the job, right, or what you will end up doing after the completion of 5 years. It's also about what you are going to be doing for those 5 years. For example, a lot of students who go for engineering, right, they say that they were lost because they had they were doing mechanical engineering, but they had no idea what or how they were going to use that education, right? Uske baad unhone IT mein koi course kiya, or they wanted to sit for the UPSC exam. But if you go for law, right, aapke bahut sare ticks automatically hote hain. For example, UPSC is again one example, right? If you want to write the UPSC exam, most of the syllabus which they are going to ask you are anyways reading about all of that in the course of your 5 years. So that is one part, right? Then there is option to join judicial services and the corporate sector. You name any of the top corporate houses and you will find that they have a legal team there. They have a big, nice, number of lawyers working with them. So it is also about that, right? You can also choose. In fact, I would go on to say that law gives you that flexibility also. Law gives you that flexibility that you choose the industry and you can get, or you get to work in that industry through law.
So it could be infra, it could be the banking sector, it could be the insurance sector, anything. I mean, you anything under the sun, right? You think of something and you can say to yourself, okay, that I can get to that industry also, or to that job through law as well. So I think that is where the whole picture changes. So it is multi-dimensional that ways.
So, just this thought clicked in my mind that law does not prepare you as just a professional, but it prepares you as an individual, right?
Yeah.
It builds you from the bottom up. Like once you've entered this field, like you will get that inquisitiveness, right? You start questioning things. कि अगर ऐसा है तो ऐसा क्यों है?
क्यों है?
Why
Exactly.
does it have to be this way? Why can't it be some other way?
Right.
So that's
Right.
what law does, right? And so I believe this last point that's there on this slide, right? You would be the perfect person to talk about it. Not we remember the conversation that we had a few days ago about reading, right? So it's like I want you to talk about it.
Yeah. So reading, right? So a lot of people are scared to go for law because they feel that it requires a lot of reading. And I was sharing this with a set of parents also a few days back. And what I shared with them was that it is not that you are forced to read. It is something which starts coming to you naturally, right? As you just said, right? That you become very like, you want to learn more, right? You want to understand stuff, you want to argue all the time, right? That's also one point, that as a lawyer you don't want to listen to someone else's arguments, because you are making, or you are having your own arguments all the time, right? So because of that quality, you need to read a lot more. So no one is forcing you to read more, you just become a reader naturally, right? So that's I think for me, I think and the second point, which is again a very, very interesting point, is that a lot of people say that if you're not a good speaker, you cannot become a good lawyer. I am of a different opinion. I feel that if you go for law, the 5 years of law school will teach you the basics of public speaking, right? The course will make you a much better public speaker. So even if you are not a good speaker as of now in your class 11th or 12th, trust me, you don't have to worry about all of this. Reading will give you the knowledge that is required to argue, and your experience, your stint at the 5 year or at the 5 year course or at the law school, that will give you more confidence also and experience also to become a far better public speaker as well. So reading, yes, lawyers do read a lot, but that's not something which is forced upon them. They are like natural readers. Yeah.
Like it becomes imperative, it becomes a natural habit for us, right? Ki if like I find out acha kuch ho raha hai, right? So I have this urge कि I need to find out more about it. कि
more about it.
किसी क्यों हो रहा है, कहाँ हो रहा है, कौन कर रहा है?
Right. So and here I would I think there's a query. So Niharika wants to know, I'm appearing for management test, but I found my interest for law also. What should I do? So Niharika, my suggestion to you would be that you prepare for both the exams. 90% of the course remains the same. This year, we have a student from Pratham family who got through AILET. He also got, I think, 96 or 97% marks in his class 12. But more importantly, Niharika, listen to this, right? He was primarily a management student. He started preparing for management, but as you are saying now, he also realized 2 or 3 months into his preparation that he is in love with the law, right? So he wants to know more. And I think after that point, and by the way, he has cleared the IIM Rotak exam as well, right? IIM Rotak. So one of the IIM exams, the management exams also he has cleared, and he'll be writing the DU-BMS exam as well. So you can watch his video on our YouTube channel as well. But yeah, I think you should go ahead, Niharika, and you should prepare for management and law. And in the meantime, you will get more answers to the questions which you have right now in your head, that whether law is for you or not, or whether it is management you should go for, right? I think in the meantime you'll get the answers as well. But I think you can easily prepare for both the exams. There shouldn't be any issue. So Niharika, I hope I've answered your question. Utkarsh is asking, I may get Simbi, Pune, Noida, so should I drop, or can you suggest, please, Aman sir, can you? Okay, so Utkarsh, I think for you, and guys, I mean, we will be taking a lot of your queries as well. So please, feel free to share your queries here. So Utkarsh, I would say that if you get through SIMBI Pune, I would say that you should go to SIMBI Pune and maybe, still prepare for CLAT. But if you are not getting to SIMBI Pune, then I think you may take a, I mean, you will have to choose then that between taking a full drop, because I don't think other than SIMBI Pune, right? So I am restricting myself. I don't want to take specific college names here, then, because then there is a lot of comparison which starts happening, that which is a good college, which is not a good college. But all I'm saying is, okay, so to answer your question, Utkarsh, I feel that if you are getting to any of the top 10, top 15 colleges, then you should take the plunge, you should take the admission, and you should give CLAT another shot. But if that's not the case, if you have not made it to the top 15, then I believe that, and that's my personal opinion, then I believe it is always better to take another shot at the CLAT exam, right? Because as Shashwat sir would have also highlighted this fact that college and your peer group and your alum base, that matters a lot. So agar aapka top 15 mein ho jata hai, again, we also agree, we will not want to take that chance again कि मालूम नहीं अगले साल क्या होगा. But अगर top 10, top 15 नहीं हुए, तो I think you can take that call. Utkarsh, I hope I have answered your question in my usual style. There is no clear-cut answer, right? You can say that that's a very like goal-mole answer or a very diplomatic answer, but that's what you should be expecting from lawyers, huh?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Right.
That is what a lawyer is. That's what the trading does. You give them things that they want to hear, and then you to figure out what is the answer.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So I guess you will have to you'll have to understand this. Okay. So Arnav, no, if you join the Retakers Batch, you will, Arnav, please try to understand, yaar, ki, it will be very different from the crash course, right? Because in the crash course, the focus is more on, because we also don't have too much time to work on the concepts, on the basics. But when you come for the Retakers Batch, we have classes 4 days a week, right? And that's only 2.5 to 3 hours. And we also understand that you need to study on your own as well, right? So please don't compare it to what you have seen so far, right? It will be a different style of teaching as well, right? And you will be getting like new set of material as well, like new mocks and everything, right? So don't worry, it won't be 8 to 9 hours every day. I think you also now understand that reading is very important, and there are a lot of other things which you are supposed to do. You're required to do that. So we will give you ample time for that. Okay. AJ is asking, should I go for IPM-IIM Mumbai or take the drop? AJ, I've already answered that question. I've just answered that question, so I will not give you a specific answer, but I've just talked about this when Utkarsh asked us about his query, right? I think I've just answered that. So yeah, it's on you. But I think top 10, top 15 colleges, that's the bar, right? We are
that's the threshold that you have to decide for your own side.
Exactly. By the way, you will also find people who have made it to, say, NLU Orissa or even RMNLU, NLU Patiala, writing the CLAT exam again and clearing it also, right? So I remember last year there were 2 or 3 people from Lucknow, from Patiala, who were not exactly, I won't use the term happy, but they had some other dream, right? They had some other goal, and they wrote the exam again. And I think 2 of them went to NLS and 1 of them went to Nalsor, Hyderabad. So again, it's just on you. You feel that it is tough, it is like this, but imagine someone who was at NLU and he or she again decided to take the plunge to go for another shot, right? So that is the kind of commitment you need to have.
Right. So I believe, like, we should take this a little further.
Yeah. Please. Yeah. because I don't have the rights to change, right? So okay, so Utkarsh is saying what is the difference between retakers and crash course? Utkarsh, बहुत सारी चीजें change हो जाती हैं. As I was telling you, it is not just about the material, right? It is not just about the material. There are a lot of other things as well, right? So, and the peer group also, Utkarsh, you also have to keep in mind that in that group, right, you will be competing with like-minded people who have taken a complete drop and who are very much passionate about going to a top law university, right? So that's again very important to have such study circles, study groups around you, right? So I think you have to focus on that as well, plus the material as well, right? So new set of mock tests, new set of sheets, so all of that is also important, but I think you have to more focus on the peer group and the kind of experience also. So I think both शायद ज़्यादा important रहेगा उत्कर्ष.
You're right. Like to add to this fact, when you're talking about the peer group, right? So there is this question, like people are asking, like I can see in the chat as well, that what if I join a particular college and I prepare for CLAT on the side, right? So it's my personal experience as well, and I've seen people do this. They start in the first few months for preparing for CLAT while they are in the college, but then फिर वो college है, right? They end up enjoying college, and then like when it comes
Right.
to it, people don't know.
It is not easy. Shashwat, I totally agree with you. And also imagine there is another problem that usually your exams clash with the CLAT dates, right? So you will have your first semester exams or the second semester exams in the month of April or May, right? April end or May 1st or second week. And we have seen historically, right? So this year would be an exception, right? Jo bhi gaya. But usually the date for CLAT is usually the first or the second week of May. और आपके जो colleges के जो what do you call it, the term exams or the what do you call these exams? Final exams, right? Final semester exams. I was forgetting the word semester, right? So the semester exams usually tend to clash with your CLAT or AILET dates. So that is also one problem which a lot of kids or a lot of students face. तो problem क्या आती है end में कि you have to take another call कि अब आपको क्या first year के ranks पे या first year के scores पे focus करना है या आपको CLAT अच्छे से लिखना है. और again that is not an easy call to take. Shashwat, you also understand कि अगर आपका पहले 2 साल में if your CGPA goes down,
फिर it's very difficult to maintain, sir. Like
it is very difficult to come up or to you know like do a lot of changes to your CGPA. So I think वो बहुत ज़्यादा confusion और हो जाता है. And as people say, right, you are riding 2 boats. तो वो अपने आप में एक problematic part है.
Right.
Okay.
So here I believe Utkarsh is confused us with when you were talking about the peer group, right? So when I believe you were talking about the peer group, you meant about the peer group in the colleges and not people who've like taken a drop or something.
So here as well, because Utkarsh, I think देखो होता क्या है ना, you need people around you also to push you to your limits. Right. That is not someone who is going to school with you. That has to be someone in that group who has the same vision, who has the same goal, that he or she is spending 8 to 10 hours every day. है ना, और आपको भी almost force, वो बोल नहीं रहे हैं आपको, लेकिन it is always in your head, Utkarsh, that I also need to do this now. If someone is scoring a score of 95 in the mock and you are scoring 80, then you go back and you work harder, right? You tell yourself, okay, I also have to get to the score of 90. So Utkarsh, by peer group, I meant this, right? And again, if you have more queries, I would love to, address all the queries one-on-one as well. But I think that's why peer group matters a lot, right? For creating competition and Utkarsh, to keep the fire burning. तो वो बहुत जरूरी होता है, बहुत जरूरी होता है, because as Shashwat sir was saying, right, कि वो होता क्या है कि पहले 2-3 महीने तो ठीक हो जाते हैं, that I want to do this, but then everything just tires you off, और आपका वो शायद अगर वो passion बहुत बार आपके साथ वालों से आता है.
That fire does not like it. Just it. वही वो chingari. It's not that fire that was there in the beginning of itself,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So,
Okay, so Divyanshi is asking, in Retakers Batch, will we be taught everything from the start, or will there be only revision of? No, Divyanshi. So how the Retakers Batch works usually is that we will start again, right? But yes, obviously there will be more emphasis on the basics now, right? So यहाँ पे हम क्या होगा कि जैसे crash course में we just like skim through or went through the course. यहाँ पे we will take more time. For example, अगर आपने क्रैश कोर्स में अगर आपने लॉ ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स के ऊपर एक क्लास हुआ था, तो रिटेकर्स बैच में देयर विल बी एटलीस्ट 3 or 4 sessions on law of contracts, right? So that you understand the concepts in its entirety. Like, I mean, this year as well, as you have seen, right, most of the questions were from law of contracts. So yeah, a lot of people can say कि why do we need to know all about law of contracts? But अगर आपने आज इस साल का पेपर सॉल्व किया तो आपने ये नोटिस किया होगा कि अगर आपने वो कॉन्सेप्ट्स पहले से पढ़े हुए थे, then that was a huge help, right? It was not confusing. You took less time to solve the passage. So in short, we will not just start from where we have left. We will start again. We will start fresh, right? We will start fresh. That is very important for you to understand, right? And we will spend much more time on the key principles, on the key aspects, right? And yes, Utkarsh, we will be practicing a lot of questions as well, together with the concepts, right? So more concepts, right? Together with a lot more questions as well. Okay, so now, so what you should not consider, this is a very important slide here, because these are the doubts which are coming to your mind. लोग क्या कहेंगे? हाँ, तो I think ये बॉलीवुड का भी बहुत एक interesting होता है. लोग क्या कहेंगे? That's a very relevant doubt. लोग क्या कहेंगे? Relatives क्या बोलेंगे? I did not have math in class 12. Can I compete? What you should do with the age factor? अगर मैं, by the way, this is again from my own experience. My roommate, right, who at Nalsa, right, my roommate at Nalsa was almost 2 years younger to me, right? He was 2 years junior to me. So and you know, like after you, even not just after you graduate, once you enter the law school, right, age would hardly matter, right? What matters is that you are in the same batch, so you have that kind of camaraderie, or you can say brotherhood, but age, I don't think वहाँ पे इतना बड़ा role play करती है. And imagine someone who's not from the top 5 or top 10 colleges, or someone who has gone or taken admission somewhere else. So I think वहाँ पे जो age का जो फर्क होगा ना, वो 2 साल शायद they will have to work harder to get to the same position, right, where you are, if you have, you know, done your law from any of the top 7 or 8 colleges. Shashwat, you want to say?
Right, sir. Like what I was just trying to like gather my thoughts was कि once you've entered the college, all that matters is कि आप college में कर क्या रहे हो, आपने college के पहले क्या किया, nobody cares.
Yeah, and what your age is, right? So I yeah, totally agree. So can't agree more on that. So age is not relevant, right? I keep saying this example. I keep
saying that age is just a number, and here actually it's just a number. जहाँ पे form पे लिखना है. It does not matter more than that.
Yeah. So when you are 28, 29 years old, 30 years old, and when you are trying to move jobs, or you want to take up a higher position, a higher role, no one is going to ask you why did you drop in your after your class 12, why did you not join college? No one ever is going to ask you that question, except for your relatives, जो आपके बहुत प्यारे और बहुत अच्छे relatives हैं, right? I mean, I'm sure they will have a lot of opinions on that, but I think you have to take that call, right? ठीक है. So next slide, Shashwat. Let's move on now. So now let's talk about the dream goal. Sir, आप पढ़ाओगे ना retakers में? Yes, Utkarsh, retakers में I will be there, and Shashwat sir will also be there. But yes, a majority of the concepts will be taken by me only. है ना? तो अगर आपको ये जानना है तो ये मैं आपको भी बता सकता हूँ कि yes, I will be teaching you, right? Can I join a law college and study for CLAT also and give paper? Apurva, I've already answered this question. right? अगर आपने अभी join किया तो as I was saying, if you are getting into the top 10, right, then it doesn't make sense to take a pure or the full drop. But अगर वो top 10 नहीं है, then I think it will be very, very difficult also, and doesn't make much sense to do that also and do this also, because and this is my personal opinion, I personally feel that you end up doing injustice to both the things. Your first year of college, जो आपने पहला साल जो college किया वहां पर भी you did not do well, and at the same time it is not easy to manage that also with your CLAT preparation as well, right? So Utkarsh, we will come to that also, right? We will share the numbers also, how you can enroll for the batch, right? So I will share that also. Okay, so the end goal, guys, the dream college, institution matters, and brand value. This is very, very important. That's why we are talking about this. And the whole reason for this session was because we were getting a lot of queries, personal queries from a lot of students at what is to be done now. So we thought that why not just take a session on this where we can just talk about this, and a lot of students can make, like, use of this information, of this thought process. But at the end, what you really want is a good college, right? And it is only because of good college that you can later on think of experimenting as well, right? So if you don't go to a good college, then life is usually just about that, like 9 to 7, 9 to 8 job, right? So if you want to do something special in life, I think the college matters a lot. The brand value of the college matters a lot, and the peer group, your peer group, right, who is going to be helping you with your jobs as well, or creating contacts, right? Or आपको, I think there is a term no जो आजकल use होती है, networking is everything, right? Networking is everything. I think बाकी लोगों ने बाद में realize किया. I think people who are into businesses or lawyers, they were the first ones to understand the power of networking, that it is everything, right? If you have a good network, everything seems to be easy, right? So next slide. Okay, so remember, it will get monotonous. Obviously it will get monotonous, don't worry about that. Monotonous hoga na, and I keep saying this, and guys who have been taught by me, wo bahut baar bolte hain ki I at times go to the extent of sounding boring, but that's how it should be. Your process, your job के essential processes हैं वो बहुत boring होने चाहिए. If you look at a Virat Kohli or a Joe Root, right, when they are practicing, right, their practice has to be boring. Every day they're doing the same thing again and again, and still there will be one nick, right? एक ball ऐसा आएगा which will take the nick and you will be out. But I think when you're practicing for something, the more monotonous it is better, right? Because that means that you are very well prepared. You are prepared, and there will be peer pressure as well. A lot of your batchmates will be going to colleges. As I was hearing Shashwat sir saying that they will be sending you pictures over Instagram about the college, about the parties they are having. But I think that's also you will have to work with, right? So आशीष is saying मैंने तो 6 में LinkedIn profile बना ली थी. आशीष बहुत बढ़िया, अगर आपने LinkedIn profile बनानी थी class 6 में, but now you need to add more to your profile as well, other than just writing there Ashish, right, starting in class 6. So just kidding, man. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of stuff to share there as well. But yeah, I think if you have a good college, then that will look even more nicer, right?
There's another question here. So Niharika is asking, what should I do now? Get into not so good college and prepare for CLAT for next 7 to 8 months. So I believe that's essentially what you've been talking about, right? It's for them to decide. It's for you to decide where does that college stand, right? And if it's in that top 10 bracket that you've been mentioning over and over again, then you should take an admission and then prepare on the side. But if it's not there, if it does not come up within that bracket, so it's not a wise choice, because फिर ना आप इधर के रहोगे ना आप उधर के रहोगे,
right.
balance करते रह जाओगे, and that become very difficult. Now that's something that would get monotonous. That's something that would get where you feel the pressure of everything else.
बिल्कुल. So I guess Niharika, Shashwat has again answered your query. not so good college, prepare again for CLAT. I'm like we both are not totally okay with it. I think not so good college ki bajaye you look. I mean there's another way of looking at it, Niharika. You have to have the confidence that not so college you will get next year as well, right? You have to have that confidence. If you are thinking कि अगर ये भी नहीं, अरे ऐसा नहीं होता कि ये भी नहीं मिला, क्यों नहीं मिलेगा, right? So if it is in the top 10, that's something else. But other if you yourself are using the term not so good college, then Niharika, I think you may look at taking a full drop or a pure drop here.
Right. Moving on, so shall we move to the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay. So like it says, like in the end, it doesn't matter that if you prepared for a year after 12th or not, right? Because like we've been talking about it and we've been mentioning that no one cares. Like once you've entered college, again, वो एक अंकल आंटी के अलावा कोई और पूछने नहीं वाले कि बेटा एक साल आपने प्रिपेयर किया तो क्या कर लिया, यहीं तो गए, you went to a particular college, right? It does not matter that much. And then the rewards.
So rewards are worth it. Alumni, and we have already talked about this. All right. So individual growth, beneficial in higher studies, even if you have to go for your masters, it will help you. Even if you are appearing for the UPSC interview or the judicial services interview, it will help you, right? The brand value of your college, and there is a reason why you will see that a lot of students from NLU Delhi, Nalsar Hyderabad, NLSIU Bangalore, or RMNLU Lucknow, Patiala, these guys are clearing or writing the judicial service exam and clearing it as well, right? First is the confidence. Second, the brand value, right? When they go and introduce themselves, right? Because everyone wants people from these top law colleges, top law universities to be joining the bar, right? To be joining the judicial services as well, right? So job opportunities right after the college, we all know, right? Last 2 years have been really tough, right? Or job opportunities शायद और भी ज़्यादा shrink हुई हैं if we go by the employment data. But वहाँ पर important क्या था that if you were at a good college, तो वहाँ पर ज़्यादा impact, even in these hard times, in these tough times, वहाँ पे ज़्यादा impact नहीं आया है उनकी जो job opportunities हैं. तो I think that is also very very important here कि rewards पे आपका ज़्यादा focus रहना चाहिए, guys. Don't just look at one side of the coin, right? So एक side मत देखो कि कैसे होगा 7-8 months. Firstly, it is not 1 year; it is 7-8 months. Secondly, don't just look at the negative sides of it कि बहुत monotonous हो जाएगा, अब भी तो पढ़ाई किया था, नहीं हुआ था. If you are confident, right, and उसके बहुत सारे reasons हो सकते हैं कि आपका इस साल क्यों नहीं हुआ. Maybe you were बाकी सब छोड़िए, maybe you were overconfident. That could also be one reason. So if you are ready to work on your weaknesses, if you have clearly identified, right, that where you lack, then I think you should also at the same time look at the rewards also, because I think वही आपको शायद ज़्यादा motivate भी करेंगे to take this call for yourself or for the parents also, right? कि क्या आपको
that's the make and break point, right? Ki what am I getting after this year that I have dropped, and the 5 years ke baad, what is the difference? This is exactly what the differences are.
Yeah, right.
If you've graduated from one of the top 7, 8 NLUs, right? The brand value that an individual carries compared to someone like people have been mentioning, not so good colleges or any other colleges, right? That's very different. Like any firm per se or any chambers per se would automatically give a student with these colleges an upper edge, would give them a preference. If not being biased per se, but that is how it is. That's what it is. That's what the brand does, right? That's what the name does, right?
So Utkarsh is asking, sir, Simbi, Pune or Noida, like, is Noida way too poor? Utkarsh, I think we will not comment on that, right? Is it way poor? But you can read it for, like, there is enough information available. In short, right, I have told you this, that Simbi, Pune is a far better option. Again, अब आप उसको कैसे इस आंसर को समझते हैं? You should talk to people who are studying at these two colleges, and I think they will also give you a fair idea if you have any second thoughts about what we are saying here, right? But just because it is symbiosis does not mean कि उनके जो तीनों या चारों campuses हैं वो at par होंगे, right? So that's something which we really have to understand. और सिम्बी पुणे was the oldest one also, जो अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं, peer group की बात कर रहे हैं, LM based की बात कर रहे हैं, तो उसका बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. So I think you should read more on that as well, right? Okay, so Shashwat, so again we have already answered this as well, along with college. So I think what I'll do is I will share few numbers here, right? And in case you guys, right, let me just
I'll just stop sharing my screen, sir.
Yeah, sure.
So like all the queries that they have, I believe the number that you will be sharing, it will be
right. So let me just share the numbers here. In the meantime, if you have any more queries, guys, please feel free to ask us. Please feel free to ask us, and I'll just. I think there's this there's the issues.
Utkarsh is asking, sir, leaving Delhi would be a big task. That's why I was asking if I could go to Simbi Noida.
Utkarsh, I think that should not be the concern अभी के लिए. तो I think ये concern आपका नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपको दिल्ली छोड़ना पड़ेगा. I think वो कहीं कभी ना कभी आपको छोड़ना ही होगा. But I think if you just ask me about the college, I think I've already given you a very clear answer there, right? But yeah, I think college छोड़ना या Delhi छोड़ना, it's a very personal call, right? So I don't think वो मैं call हम लोग ले पाएंगे आपके लिए. But I think other than that, we have like clearly mentioned कि वो हो सकता है. So guys, I think there's like I'm still facing some issue with my laptop. So the number, Shashwat, can you please like write the number down here, because I'm not able to use my cursor at all. So the numbers are 99537.
Just a second, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The numbers are
537 59131
59131.
And the other number is 8826
8826
444 288.
Right. So
and we also have a CLAT helpline, which is 5 times 9 75392. 75392. So guys, these are the three numbers. I hope you have noted down the numbers. In case you have like further queries, I'm sure which you will have, right? Because हमने बहुत सारे questions को answer किया और बहुत सारे questions आपके लिए छोड़ दिए हैं जिनका आंसर आपको खुद से ढूंढना है. So if you guys have any queries, any further queries as to the Retakers program, or whether you should take the plunge or not, please feel free to call us on these numbers, where we will try and give you personalized counseling, personalized advice on what to do based on your CLAT scores or based on your CLAT ranks, right? So till then, that's it from our side. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
bye-bye. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.